are thousands of theme parks in the world, with approximately 475 in the US alone, and given that these things have been kicking about for a few centuries, it can be hard to keep up with everything about them. So, as a theme park enthusiast, I'm going to teach you the very basics of roller coasters in the first episode of Theme Parks for Dummies. Let's set the page straight. There is in fact a definition of a theme park. It's an amusement park with a unifying setting or idea, such as Disneyland for example, where there are different themed areas. Take Animal Kingdom, themed to wildlife. However, it's not to be confused with amusement parks, which is a place where rides can be found, but they don't follow a theme, which means Six Flags isn't necessarily a theme park. But enough of that, you need to know what a roller coaster actually is first. While it might seem like all coasters are steel giants that look relatively the same, they are much more diverse and categorised by one crucial element, a lift hill. There are three main types of lift hill, which are as follows. A chain lift, which is where the coaster train is hoisted to the top of the hill by a belt of chain that is powered by a motor. The train couples onto the hill using a chain dog that catches onto the belt, hence why some coasters jolt when they approach the lift hill. The next is drive tyres, where the lift hill, at a lower gradient to a chain lift, is lined with motorised tyres that push the side wheels and or an underside fin of the train, causing it to move forwards. A notable example is 13 at Alton Towers. The final one is a launch. While technically not a lift hill, a launch is the only way for a coaster to get to the top other than the other two. There are so many types of launches, but the three most common types are a hydraulic, magnetic, and a tyre launch. Each of these three types are vastly different, so let's expand. A hydraulic launch uses powerful hydraulic motors that power the launch. A catch car, which runs through the grooves of the launch, is attached by a winch to the train and pulls the train with it as it is powered by the motors. The car is then returned to the start of the launch by a return cable. A magnetic launch, more commonly referred to as LSM or a linear synchronous motor launch, has metal fins lining the launch track. An electric current is generated within the fins in order to create a magnetic field that attracts the metal train down the launch, quickly increasing its speed. An example back in the UK of its use is Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. A tyre launch works by propelling a train in a similar way to a drive tyre lift hill. Tyres lining the launch track will drive a metal fin underneath the train in order to propel it down the track. The most recognisable example is the Hulk at Islands of Adventure. So if you know how to spot a roller coaster, you can begin collecting something known as a coaster credit, more commonly referred to as a cred. While a coaster credit isn't a physical thing, it is a sign of an enthusiast's dedication to riding every coaster they can reach. But what are some basic examples of the types of roller coaster? Firstly, you have a steel coaster. This type of coaster runs on metal tubular track with a wheel above and to the side of the track and can be made into many different models such as the shuttle or giga coaster. They can also invert, which means the coaster can go upside down and also happen to be the most common type of roller coaster today. Then you have an inverted coaster. This is where riders sit underneath the track in either rows of 4 or 2 depending on the manufacturer, and the track can invert similar to a steel coaster. You'll also find wooden roller coasters, the oldest type of coaster in the world, but they cannot invert. These usually operate with wooden trains and have a chain lift hill. They are also the first type of coaster to use an upstop wheel, which sits on the bottom of the track and prevents the coaster from flying off. If it weren't for the woodies, brilliant coasters such as a Velocicoaster wouldn't exist. You'll now more commonly find its younger brother, the RMC, manufactured by Rocky Mountain Construction, and is a wooden steel hybrid coaster that allows the track to invert while still using the traditional methods of the wooden coaster. The most recent example of an RMC coaster is Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. There are also some more unique coaster designs such as the floorless and laid down coasters, but all types have one thing in common other than a lift hill, and that is restraints. The two types are a lap bar and an over-the-shoulder restraint. Both use a lock and pin system that once activated makes the restraint practically impossible to open. as the lock and pin are bound until moved by strong motors which are only accessible in the coaster station. An over-the-shoulder restraint often has a seat belt as a failsafe that is inserted into the harness itself and comes over the rider's shoulders to sit on their lap. A lap bar will have a seat belt separate to the bar and presses on the rider's legs to keep them in, but allowing still for airtime, which is when the rider feels the force and thrill of the ride by being lifted from their seats. An example of this is Velocicoaster, again at Universal Studios, where the bar actually sits on the rider's lap, allowing for more free movement and properly taking advantage of the force of the ride. So, now you can begin your collection and look cool in the queues with your new knowledge from episode 1 of Theme Parks for Dummies. Stay tuned for more episodes to learn advanced knowledge and officially become a theme park encyclopedia. Goodbye.